we'll kind of lead off with that. I'll switch the banner at the bottom to reference the DJ Moore trade. Yeah, we're still going to get into what we're going to get into in this episode, but it was funny how it kind of unraveled. It was like, oh, the Bills trade for DJ Moore. And I was like, okay, that's notable in and of itself. And then it was like, they're also going to have to take on like all of his salary. And I was like, oh, that's also notable because it's pretty sizable. And then it was like, well, it's going to be a mid-round pick. And I was like, no, it's a second-round pick. And it all kept unraveling. Yeah. I think the value aspect, right? Second-round pick, the money, the contract, that obviously is tied into who he is as a player and the overall value in the package. Let's compartmentalize that for a minute. DJ Moore, the player, right? What he is as a wide receiver, what you think he brings to the Buffalo Bills offense that is wide receiver needy. Let's just kind of unpack who and what DJ Moore is as a player and what you think he'll mean to the Bills offense.
This seemed kind of like, I wouldn't say a long time coming, but maybe a medium time coming with Moore ending up a Bill. I feel like, the Bills were going to be active in the receiver market. What for better or for worse, Brandon Beane listens to the noise. Yeah. And I think that also just relevant of what you watch when I think that was always the thing with how the discussion with Josh Allen after the Broncos game and all the good that he brought to that game and the turnovers as well was I kept kind of like my defense of him, as people always want to say, you quit defending him. But it's like, no, this is just a fact. He was throwing to Brandon Cooks in a conference championship game. Yeah. So it's just one of these things. As much as I appreciate and respect Brandon Cooks wasn't good enough for the Saints to trot him out last year. Yeah. And the fact that he's throwing these key passes. So I think everybody in the world knew that receiver had to be addressed in some way, shape, or form. DJ Moore makes a lot of sense as far as Joe Brady background, as far as the Bears letting him go, and Bears having their own guys that they want to develop. So they had a little bit of a surplus there. I was curious about the price because of his age, his contract. And also I would say, before I get into the positives of DJ Moore, the negative side is that in 2024, he more or less quit on the Bears. As far as like his effort, as far as just a lot of things, like truly just giving up on plays. And this, I have nothing against Moore or anything. Like I was shocked by that because before that he seemed like a consummate professional. And then even this year, there's sometimes miscommunication stuff happened, what seems like with him and Caleb. Just something seemed off there in Chicago. When he got traded there, it made a ton of sense because they needed a receiver so desperately as part of that Bryce Young, or the trade that turned into Bryce Young. And he had great chemistry with Fields. I think he's going to have great synergy with Josh Allen and what this offense I think is, because yes, they attack underneath a lot. We can make jokes about mesh.
I was to say mesh.
But how many bubbles are thrown to Dalton Kincaid and Khalil Shakir, and those are good plays for the Bills. Like that's the thing. It's like it works for them. They can get away with it. It's not my favorite offense at times, but they can get away with that. DJ Moore is phenomenal on screens and underneath and yak stuff. So even right there, if we just stop there, okay, good fit. But he has more receiver to him. He can win on the ball. He doesn't need to be off the ball like Kincaid and Shakir have to be. He can win on the ball. He can be an X. He can win isolated. He can win vertically. I've always thought of him as like maybe not the best comparison for this, but maybe if I go like a cross sports thing, a guy that's really good of shooting at the rim and 3-pointers, but terrible in mid-range. That's DJ Moore. Good downfield, good on that vertical stem. Kind of has some great ball skills. That's what in Carolina, what he was really good at, more than maybe in Chicago. With Justin Fields, you got to see it a little bit. That's perfect for what Josh Allen needs. Just think of like some of those Stephon Diggs plays where it's just kind of like those back shoulders, those short back shoulders. Moore is good at those. He's got great ball skills overall as far as adjusting. So he is a type of flavor, like in a perfect world, they get some big behemoth X. Like I had Denzel Boston going to him to the Bills in a few mocks. That was what I idealistically picture. DJ Moore is kind of an X in a different way, but they really needed this. Is he a true one? I consider him more of like a high end 2 in a perfect world, or needs other complementary parts. The Bills have a nice other pieces that this is going to be a good role for him. But yeah, we can get to the compensation, but I will say, as far as Moore with the Bills, they needed this. It makes sense stylistically with how Allen wants to play. Some of the other guys get to slot down a little bit in their roles. So I understand why this happened.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in lockstep with you on that. Like, I don't think, again, compartmentalizing the deal itself and what they gave up for him. I mean, he gives the Bills wide receiver room, I think, needed burst, explosion, athleticism, the juice. Like you mentioned, like you've got the yak capabilities underneath, and they were already a tremendous yak team in and of themselves, granted, because a lot of the offense was like, hey, Khalil Shakir, you're going to catch the ball at the line of scrimmage and then just go make some guys miss and do some stuff. Now you add DJ Moore to that, who can do the yak stuff underneath, but he can also stretch the field vertically and horizontally. You can send him deep. on like the clear out routes or have him, my mind immediately went to the game winner against Green Bay in Chicago in like week 15 or whatever, where Keyshawn
Yeah.
Nixon is all over him,
Yep.
but he's running that deep post, wins the game. Nixon gets there a little early, but he makes the catch through contact. Ironically, survives the ground, unlike maybe Brandon Cooks. Was it?
I know.
Was it a catch? Was it not? I don't know.
I think we'll just, it's vibes. It's a vibes call.
It
had good vibes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, whatever you're feeling, go with it. Rock it. And yeah, I describe him as a guy who's going to win more with athleticism and speed than he will with precise like route running or technique or sharpness or suddenness to his game. Yeah, and I'm right there with you. I think he's better suited to be a wide receiver too, to be more of like a Robin that hopefully gets a Batman or another Robin or a Nightwing or something like that to kind of round everything out a little bit. But for him, just as a player, he adds a needed skill set and pop to this Bills wide receiver room. And now you take that wide receiver room. And if we're looking at it right now, it's, so you got DJ Moore, you've got Josh Palmer, you've got Khalil Shakir, got Keon Coleman. Don't really know what or who he is.
But now you don't need Keon Coleman. Like that's what this does. It's like whatever he turns into, okay, cool. If he ends up getting his head on straight and everything's good, it's a bonus. Yeah. But now there's no absolute need that he has to be something. It's more like anything that happens with him that's positive, bonus.
Yeah. And that was my biggest thing, not to absolve Keon of all the off the field stuff that's kind of gotten in his way this past season. But my biggest issue when the Bills drafted him was he was a known project guy. Like I thought, like across the league, it was like, man, he's got his awesome frame and these traits, but he needs some time to develop. He needs some time to polish and all that. Yep. And instead, he goes to a win now team in a Super Bowl window that needed him to contribute at the top of the depth chart right away. And again, that does not absolve him of the off the field stuff, but he went to a situation that wasn't really ideal to set him up for success. He didn't go to a situation that was like, yep, you're going to be able to marinate for a couple years. You can develop. Let's learn this game. They were like, hey, no, we need you to go out and be Sean Kemp for wide receivers right now and be an effective player for us right out the gate. And he wasn't ready for that, which again is somewhat on him. But I just always thought it was questionable for the Bills taking that type of player, injecting him into the lineup. And now, you get to, in a good way, knock him down a peg a little bit. And then you still got Dalton Kincaid, who functions in as a primary pass catcher. Things start to round out a little bit for that pass catching group. Do you see now, you mentioned Denzel Boston. I think a lot of fans would, if they're looking at the Bills right now, still say like, hey, they still need another wide receiver. Do you think that is still on the menu for them? Do you think they should still target a wide receiver day one, day two, if the right guy falls on day one? How much of a priority do you think wide receiver is for this team now, given DJ Moore's addition and kind of what it means?
It's more of a middle round one. Like, I'd more address that with maybe their fourth rounder, as opposed to a day two or day one. I think day one, I want to see first off what happens with McGovern and Edwards. And then once those decisions are made, then I can really prioritize what the Bills want to, because right now, like if they sign one, they sign both, or they sign neither, because they're going to get a pretty penny, both of them.
Yep.
Like they're both good players, and I've been trying to tell people this for weeks now. And I get everyone kind of catches up with the offensive line. I get it, but it's like one of these things. I'm like, they're going to get 18, 20 million, and I'm trying to like kind of get that over to people. Like a solid starter that's the price for a solid starter right now in free agency, and I think they're even better than that. So depending on what happens with those guys, because if both are gone, interior line, like that is the number one priority. And if we want to juice up this offense, I will say. I like if you just look at the pass catcher room right now, you can be fine with this because you have enough pieces as far as just the totality of it all. Where now you have a guy that can actually be, like I said before, aligned on ball. Even a guy like Joshua Palmer, who I always think ideally is a power slot, like he can now be off ball and do things and be a Z as opposed to an X. So the fact that Moore is an X makes the other stuff. Now you don't need a burner because Moore is your burner. Like him having that skill set, which might not be perfect for everybody, is kind of perfect for the Bills because what everyone else brings to the table, who are more gritty players, or Shakir, who's kind of a do-it-all Swiss Army knife kind of guy. I love Shakir. I know you know this.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
He's one of my favorite like hits I would say I've ever had. Like where I was like, it's like this is exactly what I was telling everybody when he was coming out. Like he just helps. He just he's a winning football player. That's Khalil Shakir. But everybody else, I wish Shavers didn't get hurt.
I know.
He was coming on, man.
Yeah, it's like as an actual pass catcher, in addition to being like a fun like blocker on
Great
duo,
blocker,
and yeah, just
some deep ball stuff.
yeah,
I know. I was
suck, man.
like, if he was healthy, I'd actually be like, he was kind of like one of these kind of dark horse guys. I'm like, man, just keep an eye on him because I think Allen likes him and he's doing some nice stuff. Him and who's the other kind of Ryan Flournoy for the Cowboys. Those are Shavers and Flournoy are two kind of like, I don't know, rotational receivers that really came on the second half of last year. I swooped them up in all my dynasty teams. And then, but I was like, that's a big thing I've learned. Don't praise a guy until I got him on my dynasty teams, and then I talk about him.
That's fair. That's fair.
Enough people in my leagues listen to my shows. But like they do need one more guy. Like I do say that, but now again, it's not the most desperate need that they have. I would say it's more of a day 3. Throw another body type in there as opposed to like, okay, we got to keep addressing this double dip. They like more really does help, pun intended, slot everybody else into the right spot. And and I don't know. I just look at the defense too, and just, I'd rather they address the defensive front or offensive front early with that first round pick.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. My biggest thing for them at wide receiver this year was, I think they needed multiple additions and some combination of somebody who can get you a bucket or just moves the needle, and then some kind of speed element. It could be all that in one guy. It could be multiple of each. Like even, I know a lot of Bills fans like Romeo Doubs, and I was like, okay, cool. You could add Doubs, but then you still have to add like a field stretcher. You still need a speed guy to go with what Doubs is. Now it's kind of the inverse of that. You get DJ Moore, who is a wide receiver 240, but top of the depth chart guy. He's got the speed. He's got the athleticism. But now, I think it's fun because it opens up a little bit of with what he is. You could still go for another burner. You could go for a bigger body type. You can go for more of a Z or power slot. Like you can kind of add a little bit, however the board falls to you, given what DJ Moore is. And I think that's a really interesting part. And nice.
I think we always think BPA as just everybody, but sometimes there's BPA at a position. You know, and there's so many flavors of receiver, and there's going to be in every single draft class till the end of time. Because receivers are very good now. There's a lot of them. I know Bills fans are like, what? And I'm like, no, seriously.
Right? Why don't we have any? Yeah.
I know, right?
Why are we trotting out Brandon Cooks as wide receiver 1 in the playoffs?
Everyone keeps conveniently forgetting about that. Like, it's not just Josh Allen. It's like CJ Stroud the week before. He's throwing to rookie tight end 3, 2 of his linemen are out. Everyone's like, well, CJ Stroud sucks now. It's like, do you guys realize who he's throwing to? He's throwing to Christian Kirk, who got traded for a 7th rounder and was hurt all year. And then a rookie day 2 guy. And everyone's going like, what happened to him? It's like, I could explain some things. I can give you some context of what's going on and who's throwing to. But so it's not just Bills fans. Like, everyone's coming after my quarterback because I thought the backlash of all that stuff. I know no one wants to retread this, but I would say nationally, it's very funny for me where everyone's guarded about their quarterback, but everyone wants to yell at the other team's quarterback because they feel like that quarterback doesn't get criticized enough. So as a national guy that's neutral, kind of see it all from all angles. So I did notice who he was throwing to in a playoff game, but just talking about how everyone kind of fits into a role now. Moore can attack deep, can be underneath. Khalil Shakir is underneath intermediate. Dalton Kincaid's underneath intermediate. Now you got enough guys that can attack all areas. Again, you'd have one more guy that can maybe threaten deep, but now you have somebody as opposed to nobody. And everybody was like very samey in the areas of the field that they can attack. So now you have that valid threat to kind of create space for everybody.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way to put it. Like I know it's gotten some flack now, especially with the Bills, but I am a proponent of like build your wide receiver room like the basketball lineup. Yeah, I like that. Same. I like that versatility. But if you've got 5 guys and it's like 3 shooting guards and 2 power forwards, it's like, well, you didn't really build the basketball lineup. You just got like the bunch of the
no
same
one can
guys.
shoot a 3, and everybody is relying on getting to the rack and shooting 18 footers. Then like. Yeah, you need someone to create space. Yeah,
kind of like what the Clippers have been recently. Like I'm a Clippers fan, but like nobody can shoot the 3, and you've got like some guys who can create their shot. And Kawhi's got a great mid-range game
from when they moved to. That is so that. Okay.
As a young kid,
you're a big Bob McAdoo fan, like.
So I was being in Buffalo, and I'm a North Carolina fan as a little kid. I was a Raptors guy because of Vince Carter. I was like, Vince Carter's sick, and the Raptors are right here. That's
closest
cool.
Team,
Yep. We grew up in the '90s. I had a sick Raptors '90s starter jacket. It was like so sick. And then he left.
Sonics one still, or my parents have it, I should say. And I want to give it to my son.
Yes,
once he turns like 6.
Yes. That's sick. That's awesome. So I rooted for the Raptors a bit, and then that faded. And I didn't really have a team. And then I learned the Clippers used to be in Buffalo. And I was like, oh, sweet. Like, I'll root for the Clippers. And that was literally like a couple years. And then the Chris Paul trade happened. And I was like, oh, this is kind of fun.
Good
and
timing.
Then, yeah, great timing for me, or so I thought. And then Kawhi Leonard's been my favorite player since like his second year in the league. And he went to the Clippers. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Stars and oh, what, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander might not turn into anything. This trade is fine for Paul George. Everything is going to be great. And then it wasn't. But yeah, the Clippers, like, athleticism now with all the trades, and they play good defense, and they can attack it. They can attack the rim. They can play in the paint. They can shoot the mid range. They can't shoot a three to save their life. Like Kawhi can get them there a little bit, and every once in a while Mathurin will hit shots. But yeah, it's nice to build that lineup. But if you commit to that, you have to commit to the basketball lineup. You have to get the rest of those pieces. And I felt like they went with too many shooting guards for the Bills and too many power forwards. And it was like, okay, you need a point. You need more of like you need more of a 3-and-D guy in the same like wheel well. Yeah. So
that's what Shaver should have been as the 3-and-D guy. Like, like Palmer is a undersized 4, and Coleman's a 4.
Small.
Like, I'm right there with you. Like, they had a lot of 2s and 4s and not a lot of guys that can maybe create like a little bit more on their own. Yeah.
Yes. And they should be the 2s and 4s in the lineup where like your center is Jokic and you've got like Steph Curry a point. So it's like, okay, that's like, it's a little bit of different because you got these superstars that kind of end cap it a little bit. But yeah, I'm interested to see the second round pick and eating all the money. There's multiple reports on how they're going to shift the money around. We'll see to that. I thought the second, just because of the contract, I thought it was a little high. I know you see that in a similar light. I thought it would be more of like a third round pick, a fourth round pick. But again, if you want to play the game of like, okay, that second round pick, is DJ Moore better than whatever receiver they were probably going to get in the second round? Yeah, from an own quantity perspective, sure. So I can buy that. But yeah, I did think it was a little rich, and I know you're kind of in lockstep with that thought as well.
Yeah, like just a tad rich, not like an absolute fleece or anything like that. But I just thought because of age, because some of the stuff you have to remember, if you're paying a guy or at least bringing a guy in, effort stuff is going to get criticized, and so the fact that that's kind of hanging over his head, like that's not lost on me. So that's where I would be like, I felt like nationally or league wide, his stock was down because of that as well. Coaches talk and personnel guys talk. Yeah. But so I figured his range. I thought a third would be the most he would get. Third or like a flop. Like a third or exchanging this kind of thing. Like that's kind of what I envisioned in my head. Maybe a fourth because of the contract stuff spooked people. Yep. So like this is, yes, it's a late second. Yes, it's not a great draft. I'll be honest, but there is a lot of interesting day 2 guys. I would say the range in this draft, like 25 to 60, is more interesting to me than top 10. Almost.
Yes,
1,000%. Not to say, it's just there's a lot of what I call green chips in this draft, and some can turn into stars. Like that's what I think is interesting. It's gonna be a very interesting draft cycle because there's a lack of consensus, so it's gonna be very fun. So yeah, April's gonna get weird, but I think that was just a tad rich. And again, I'm not going to beat down, and paying the contract is a tad rich, but they are a desperate team in ways. So that's what desperate teams kind of do. They kind of have built their desperation, a little bit. So that's just how I looked at it, but I'm not going to go like, oh my God, this is the worst trade I've ever seen in my life. Oh my God. I just thought my initial review is like, oh, B-, kind of like as far as the compensation, it wasn't like, I think the Bears did the best they could, but I think the Bills maybe just overpaid a little. But again, everything we talked about, all those positives, if it works out and everyone slots in, who cares?
Yeah. If you win, nobody cares.
For where this Bills team is at, like you're building to this window. So like I don't know, AFC is wide open. And I just keep trying to bring that up to people. It's like the Chiefs are taking a step back. Yeah. The Bills are figuring out what they're doing. The Ravens I'm pretty optimistic about the Ravens, where they're going this offseason. Yeah. But like the Jags could go a couple ways. The Texans could go a couple ways. I'm optimistic, but also like they could F up this offseason and just take a step back. Like, so the AFC is just like whatever team kind of really hits this offseason, not just these big moves, but filling in the lines. Yeah. Like it's a very wide open conference. And so like, that's why I'm not like totally opposed to this. I know other national people are probably gonna just go like make memes about Bean, and I get that. It's easy. He's the punching bag right now. Yes, it was a little rich, but it wasn't the worst deal I've ever seen in my life because it makes sense as far as where these teams are at.
The only thing I'm waiting for is for Bills fans to want to burn everything to the ground if like if Alec Pierce signs for a deal similar to what like DJ Moore's average annual value is,
okay, yeah, that
it's
would be
going to be terrible because like everyone all like since
Pierce would be
October,
amazing for Allen. So
yes,
he'd be so perfect for him,
dude. Yeah, like everybody, like even the most casual of fans, starting in like October, was like Alec Pierce, Alec Pierce, Alec Pierce. And then as the season went on, I was like, nah, he's going to get paid. Like it's not even worth discussing. But if he gets something close to what DJ Moore's annual average value is, the Bills Mafia is going to want to burn the world to the ground. That's going to be, that's going to be the first thing. We gave up a second round pick to get DJ Moore when we could have kept that pick and just paid Alec Pierce. What's going on? Yeah, that's the one thing I'm like worried about, because I was like, I think Alec Pierce is going to get between like 20 to 24 mil a year. And that's right where DJ Moore is. So you could have had that for Alec Pierce. Oh.
I think last I saw was Pierce getting like 27.
Oh so my God, it's climbing even high. Jeez. I mean, I get it. Athleticism and juice.
That's how it goes. So, hey, Tutu Atwell got 11 mil, and dude, he's barely even playable. But just that archetype is always going to get paid because the boot, like DJ Moore can do it a little bit, but that boost effect that it has on everybody else, just that's worth so much money. And then Pierce actually, though, like connects.
Yes.
It's just he actually connects. Again, it's like doing the basketball analogy. It's like he can shoot threes, but he shoots at 46%.
Yeah.
And at a high volume, like, relatively.
And like plays defense and can drive the lane a little bit.
Yes,
body,
yeah.
like,
and he's like developing some handles a little bit right now. His route running's gotten better. Yeah. Yes. I know it's funny. Everybody wants Alec Pierce, and it's like, guess what? Every team wants Alec Pierce.
Yeah.
But again, he's not a 1, he's a 2. But his skill set can really boost everybody else. Yeah,
and in this wide receiver market where things happen, like Josh Palmer got decently paid by the Bills. Tutu Atwell last year, those are the two.
Can get 20-something million,
bro. Like, that's what it is. And he's I like Dobbs a lot. He's a wide receiver too. I'm not paying him that much. But the market is what the market is, and
that's a market. I know. I always try to explain that to people. Like Dan Moore got paid last year, and it's like he's a starting left tackle.
Yep.
I know he's average at best.
Yeah.
It's a market. There's no fair value in a market. It's
whatever
there's supply, there's demand. And every year it's different. Everyone's got different resources every single year and different needs every single year, and there's different draft classes every single year. So it's like the markets are going to be so wildly different every single year. So I know I felt like the last month. That's why I keep saying to people, it's like $20 million. That's the price to get these guys. I know that's crazy, but look what Titus Howard just got paid.
I know.
Gets traded. He gets 21 mil a year. I think it was 21, 22.
Good chunk. And that's been my whole thing with wide receivers. Like a lot of people like, oh, what do you think of this guy? This guy. I was like, I'm not even you're going to pay 20 plus mil for Dobbs. Like you can, but then you're also kind of screwed. Or are you going to pay closer to 30
guy if you have Dobbs?
Exactly.
Like to your point. So, yep.
What do you do? Like, how do you put the puzzle pieces together? Yeah. Like I'm right there with you. But that's the one thing. I think Bills fans eventually will calm down and be like, okay, DJ Moore's cool. And right when they think that, it's going to be like, Alec Pierce signed for $23 million a year. And they're going to Rabble. Yeah, all of it.